Hello, amigos. So far, we have seen how a school divides all the classes, and students are judged on the basis of points. Class D is declared as a bin of garbage. But in this class, our introvert main character happens to be whose past will be revealed to us in the future. He makes all the useless students in his class pass in all subjects. Together, we discover the true colors of some people and how Class C plans to expel a Class D person from school. We have covered so much of the story so far in these last 3 videos, link in the description. The episode we're looking at is centered on this big trial.
Okay.
And it could totally shake things up at the school. Ready for some serious drama.
Yeah.
Okay, so the key player in all this is Kiyotaka Ayanokōji. He's a bit of an enigma, super smart, crazy observant, but he kind of likes to work from the shadows.
Interesting.
He's not the one in the spotlight, but he's often the one pulling the strings. Now, the student at the center of the trial, that is Ken Sudu from Class D.
All right.
He's been accused of attacking 3 students from Class C.
Which is bad news because he could get expelled.
So high stakes, super high stakes. The episode plays out like a trial, to figure out if he's really guilty or if there's something more to the story. And the trial itself is fascinating because each class is kind of like a team.
Really?
They've each got their own strategist leading them, and they're all trying to outsmart each other. There are huge consequences on the line, and it all comes down to this point system that determines a class's ranking, like what privileges they get and stuff. The first part of the trial is all about hearing from Sudu and the students accusing him.
Okay.
And they give totally different stories of what went down. Sudu insists he was just defending himself.
Okay.
But the other students say he started it.
So conflicting accounts.
Totally. And that's where Ayanokoji's incredible observation skills kick in. He starts to notice these little things in the Class C student stories that just don't add up.
Interesting.
Like maybe they're exaggerating or leaving stuff out. It makes you wonder if they're being totally honest.
Yeah.
Now, just when things are looking bad for Sudu, there's this big twist. Someone steps up as a witness that nobody expected.
Really?
Sakura. She's from Class D too.
Okay.
But she's super shy.
Yeah.
And has really bad social anxiety. So it's a huge deal that she even comes forward.
So it's a big moment.
Totally changes the game.
Oh.
Sakura says she was actually there when it happened.
Okay.
And she even has pictures to prove it.
Wow.
This evidence backs up Sudu's story about acting in self-defense because you can see the Class C students all around him.
Interesting.
The whole room, like, it explodes. Total shift in power, right? Class C is scrambling, trying to make Sakura look bad. Like she's being used by Class D or something.
Yeah.
But get this. The student council president, who's basically the top dog in this school,
Okay.
confirms that Sakura was definitely there.
So her testimony is valid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a huge turning point.
Yeah.
Okay, so the photo doesn't totally prove who started the fight, but it throws a massive wrench into Class C's accusations, right?
Yeah.
We're left wondering, is Suda finally in the clear, or are there more twists coming? And just when you think you've got it all figured out, Suzune Horikita,
All right.
the leader of Class D, who's like super smart and strategic herself,
Okay.
she drops a bomb. She says that the whole fight was actually a setup by Class C
Really?
to get Sudu expelled.
Wow.
Like a chess game where every move is calculated,
Yeah.
Horikita thinks they purposely provoked Sudu, knowing he had a bit of a temper, and then used that to make him look like the bad guy.
Interesting.
This accusation takes the trial to a whole other level. We're not just talking about he said, she said anymore. It's a strategic battle between 2 classes who want to win no matter what.
So it's a power struggle between these classes.
Absolutely. And this trial really shows how cunning and strategic these students can be. It's not just about brute force. It's about thinking ahead,
Interesting.
anticipating your opponent's moves, and knowing how to manipulate things to your advantage. And that brings us back to Ayanokoji. Even though he likes to stay in the background, he's clearly a master strategist. He's always watching, analyzing, figuring out the best way to influence the outcome without directly getting involved. It's like he's playing chess,
Okay.
and the other students are his pieces. The question is, what's his end game? What's he really after?
Really?
That's what keeps us hooked. Is he really trying to help his classmates?
Yeah.
Or does he have something else up his sleeve? It's hard to say. And that's what makes him so fascinating. And then there's Suzune Horikita, the leader of Class D. She's amazing. Brilliant, determined, and totally loyal to her class.
Okay.
But sometimes her pride, and ambition can kind of get in the way.
So she's got her own flaws.
Yeah, for sure. And that makes her even more interesting.
Yeah.
She's not perfect, but she's always going for the win. And in this episode, her decision to accuse Class C of setting the whole thing up, that was a risky move.
Yeah.
It could totally backfire. She can't prove it. But it shows how far she'll go to protect her classmates.
Yeah.
Even if it means putting herself out there. But we can't forget Ari Sakura. Her courage to step up, even with her social anxiety, that's incredible. And think about the impact she had.
Yeah.
I mean, her testimony totally changed the whole trial.
So she's a key player.
Absolutely. She proves that even the quietest person can have a huge impact, even if they don't want the spotlight.
Interesting.
And speaking of powerful figures, the student council president, he's another layer of intrigue, right? He's watching the trial, kind of detached, but you can tell he's smart. And totally aware of all the power plays going on.
Okay.
He's the highest authority in the school, so his decisions are a big deal.
Yeah.
So, as we finish up this exploration of Classroom of the Elite, I'm really struck by how much this anime has to offer. It's not just entertaining, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, but it also challenges you to think. It's a story that makes you question everything you thought you knew. And that's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
It shows how talented the creators are. I mean, they've made this complex world full of these interesting characters, relationships, and ethical dilemmas. They've created something that's both captivating and thought-provoking.
So a must-watch for anyone who enjoys a good challenge.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as we look forward to the next episode, the big question is, will Horikita be able to prove what she said about Class C?
Really?
Or will it all backfire? Only time will tell.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, the stakes are higher than ever. And this fight for power is far from over. But I think the big takeaway here is remember to think for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't just accept everything at face value. Question things, look for different perspectives, and don't be afraid to challenge the way things are.
It's good advice for life in general, I think.
Exactly. The truth is out there, but sometimes it's buried under, people's biases, agendas, all that. So be curious, be critical, and trust your own judgment. And who knows, maybe you'll uncover some surprising truths about yourself and world along the way. Now let's talk about episode 6. And let me tell you, this one is a wild ride. Yeah, we're talking serious drama, betrayals left and right, and a few things that'll leave you thinking, wait, what? But in episode 6, things get even more crazy. We jump right back into the story with Ayanokoji going to see Sakura Ari, who was a key witness to what went down.
Interesting.
But right away, you can see Sakura is scared. Like, seriously terrified. She tells Ayanokoji that someone is blackmailing her.
Well, blackmailing her.
Yeah, with letters and photos, threatening her to lie about what really happened.
Oh, wow.
It's really tough to watch. This girl, she's totally innocent, but she's caught in the middle of this whole mess.
Yeah.
And, it makes you think about how much pressure these students are under.
Yeah, it's intense.
I mean, imagine being a teenager in this crazy competitive school where one wrong move could ruin everything. Now, Ayanokoji, he's super smart, but he likes to keep to himself,
Right, he's always in the shadows.
Exactly. But he also can't stand to see someone get treated unfairly. So he starts working behind the scenes to figure out what's really going on. At the same time, Horikita's doing her own thing. She's desperately trying to find some hard evidence to clear Sudu's name. She starts thinking that maybe there were security cameras near where the incident happened.
Makes sense.
But get this, the school tells her there are NO cameras anywhere near there.
Really?
Yeah, which obviously makes you think they're hiding something, right?
For sure.
And that's when things get super interesting. Ayanokoji, being the genius he is, through some clever moves and observations, he finds out there are cameras after all.
So he was right.
Exactly. He then uses this information to make a deal with the students from Class C, those who accused Sudu in the first place.
Oh, so he's using it as leverage.
You got it.
Yeah.
He gives them an ultimatum. Either they drop the charges against Sudu, and he'll keep quiet about the cameras, or they can keep pushing, but risk the school finding out they messed up big time.
That's a pretty bold move.
It is. But Ayanokoji knows the Class C students have a lot more to lose. Can you imagine the fallout if the school was exposed for not keeping their students safe?
Yeah, that would be a disaster for them.
Exactly. So, of course, the Class C students realize they've been outplayed. They agree to drop the charges, and finally, Sudo is in the clear. But it's not a clean win, you know.
What do you mean?
He feels like he owes his classmates big time, especially Ayanokoji and Horikita. And this whole thing has shown just how messed up this supposedly elite school really is.
Yeah.
It's a win, sure, but it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It makes you wonder, how far are these students willing to go to get ahead? Like, what lines are they okay with crossing?
Interesting. It really makes you think about, like, what's going on in these characters' heads.
Oh, totally.
You've got Ayanokoji, obviously brilliant, but he's a bit of an enigma.
Right, like he's always got this hidden agenda you're trying to figure out. And then there's Kakeru Ryunin, the guy behind the whole Class C scheme.
Yeah. He's definitely playing a different game.
He's ambitious, no doubt. Ruthless, too. Not someone I'd want to get on the wrong side of.
Definitely not.
And that scene at the end, where they finally face off, gave me chills.
What happened?
So Ryuin, he comes right out and says he knew Ayanokoji was pulling the strings all along.
Oh, wow. He was on him.
Yeah. He basically set the whole thing up as a test for Ayanokoji to see what he was capable of.
So it was like a power move, a challenge.
Exactly. He's throwing down the gauntlet right there in front of everyone, saying, "Bring it on, Class D." And it leaves us hanging like, what's Ayanokoji going to do next?
He could go either way, right?
Right. Will he fight back? Or is he going to find some crazy way to outsmart Ryuin again?
That's what I want to know.
But it's not all about these mind games and power struggles, though. This episode, it really shows you how tough this school is on the students. Emotionally, I mean.
Yeah, like with Sakura.
Exactly. Seeing her break down like that, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
She's so vulnerable and desperate for someone she can actually trust. Makes you wonder, how much of themselves do these kids have to give up just to survive at that school?
That's a good question. Do they even know who they are anymore?
Right. And it's not just Sakura. Think about Ken Sudo. Even though he was cleared of those charges, I don't know, there's this feeling like he lost something along the way.
Yeah, like he paid a price.
Totally. He's in debt to his classmates now, especially Ayanokoji and Horikita. And that's got to be weighing on him. He's had to face some hard truths about himself, you know?
Yeah, his pride took a hit.
For sure. And then you've got Suzune Horikita. She's so determined to win. Always.
Always.
But this whole thing, it's like it's forcing her to see that she can't do it all alone.
She's got to learn to trust other people.
Exactly. Which is huge for her because she's always been so independent.
Yeah, that's not her style.
But now she's starting to see that maybe working together isn't so bad. That there's power in actually connecting with people.
Interesting.
And it's this whole character development thing, seeing how much these students are struggling on the inside, that makes this episode more than just like what happened next in the story. It makes you question what ambition really costs, you know?
Yeah, what do you have to sacrifice to succeed in a place like that?
Exactly. You know, it's interesting to see how different these characters are in how they deal with things.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Or like Ayanokoji and Horikita, for example. Both of them are super smart.
For sure.
And they both want to win. But the way they go about it, it's like night and day. Ayanokoji, he's all about staying behind the scenes, you know, pulling the strings, making things happen without anyone knowing it's him.
He's like a puppet master.
Totally. Always thinking 10 steps ahead, like he's playing chess or something.
Yeah.
But Horikita, she's more straightforward, you know. Logic, strategy, that's her thing.
Right.
But I think this whole situation, it showed her that sometimes that's just not enough. Sometimes you got to bend the rules a little to get what you need.
Yeah, in that school, you got to play dirty sometimes.
Exactly. And that's what makes Ayanokoji so interesting, right? He gets how this whole system works, and he's not afraid to use it to his advantage. But we still don't really know what his endgame is.
That's the big mystery.
Is he just trying to survive? Or is there something bigger he's working towards?
Who knows?
Every time you think you're starting to understand him, he does something that throws you completely off.
Right. Like, can you even trust him?
That's the question, isn't it? Is he capable of caring about other people? Or are they all just pawns in his game?
It's kind of scary if you think about it.
I think that's why we're all so hooked on this show, right? We're trying to crack the code, figure out what makes him tick. Because in this world, nothing is what it seems. And what these students have to give up to win, well, it might be more than any of us can imagine.
Definitely leaves you with a lot to think about.
Okay, so we're going to wrap things up there. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to get updated on a daily basis and follow this journey of Classroom of the Elite. Until then, sayonara.